All right, Four Boys Garage back here. Today we're gonna do some rear brakes on the 2013 Polaris Sportsman. These quads are pretty much the same across many names. I think even Yamaha has a 90cc that is the same. We'll probably put some of that info in our description, but I think there's an Outlaw 90 from Polaris that's a little bit more of the race body style, but they're all the same. They're a Taiwanese made on, which is actually, I think you can see it on, yeah, right there. See it on that, which is a Taiwan-made machine, and they were making them for everybody. They're junk. I think if you've had one long enough, you already know it. We've had this thing since brand new, and my 20-year-old was the first one riding it. We've replaced everything at least a few times, even bearings in the transmission and engine. This thing has cost a fortune to actually ride it. If you plan to do more than your backyard, I would recommend against it because they're basically junk. That all said, when you got little ones and you actually want to take them places and ride, we go out of state, go through rivers, and we beat them up pretty good. And we've had no choice but to spend $3 grand in parts and labor at least on a $3,000 machine. I will say though, if you're going to be doing your front brakes, definitely get this thing up in the air, do the 6 and 12 and try to shake this thing to test your bearings inside your little hub. Definitely recommend that before you place your parts order because those things are so easy while you've got the wheel off to just put all new. Parts aren't expensive, and we found that just slapping more parts on there while we're at it means we're working on it a little less anyway. That said, the process is really straightforward. It's just good to have parts in hand before you go to do anything. Again, really straightforward. We're not even going to cover that in this video. I don't know if somebody else may have done a video, but you basically got your dust cover, castle nut, and cotter pin, and you can just pull the entire thing off and you're ready to go. Of course, you can crack the lugs, pull the wheel off first, and then do that if you'd like. One note about it, even though we're not gonna cover it, we did try aftermarket. We tried to run some EBC stuff, is usually pretty good. I had EBC shoes for this. I could not get them on. And I don't know if they were trying to pack a little bit of extra friction material on there, but I could not get the hub back on over those, or the drum just would not go back over them. I had to take them off. The local bike shop, they took them back, the motorcycle store, and they ordered me factory parts. So because these are not expensive, I've gone with the factory parts. Here's your part number for the rear shoes on this machine. And that's what I've been using and going to continue to use. We have multiple sets of everything because we know we almost always need it. We've done chain tensioners, chains, everything under the sun to this thing. So we're going to start making videos on this a little bit more. We've done a few small ones already, but I looked up just to see how this mess comes apart and couldn't find a decent video. I mean, they're either the video is just really bad and spinning around and the audio is terrible, or they just didn't do a very good job of showing much of what was going on. And so I thought, well, let's just make a video on this and help everybody out. First thing you want to do is you're going to need to lift up on your machine, get your favorite wood blocks, and have your helper push them under. All right, one-handed. Here we got it. So we got it in the air, both sides. We'll get this little balanced up. Start from there. All right. So once they're in the air here, we've got the wheels off the ground. We have found that we've got hopefully a loose castle nut. I don't really know what else could be going on there, so hopefully that's just a little loose. We're gonna check that out. We started to pull on the axle here to check these bearings, and we're gonna need some of those too. And I'm probably shaking the camera just as much as I'm shaking the axle, so it's hard to tell, but this side bearing in here seems like we're gonna need to replace that. We are gonna go ahead with the brake job, worry about that later because we don't have parts for that. We need brakes. We have nothing here. This thing is adjusted all the way in as far as we can, and we're adjusted up top. We have nothing. So we've got to get some brakes on here because we're riding tomorrow. We will deal with the bearing later. All right, so you get your favorite helper, your favorite impact, and what size socket?
This socket is 14 mil.
14 mil. We've got a lot of extension here, but we're gonna get these cracked off. We're gonna pop this dust cap off and see if we can get to the bottom of what's going on here. What in the world? Okay, I don't know. Take this thing apart and see what's up. All right, helper's gotta get the cotter pin out. What?
I feel like these are a lot bigger than normal meter moves pliers.
Almost got it. There it is. All right, don't know why, but the castle nut was probably a good half turn loose. It wasn't even snug, much less tight. So the good news is that that wobble will be gone as soon as we tighten this up. All right, castle nut off, and there's this washer, and then a larger washer, and then we should be able to pull this right off the splines here. Yep. And then this sleeve. Ooh, looking a little nasty under there. We'll have to clean that up pretty good. So the sleeve is off, and then we should be able to push this axle straight through. And that should separate our drum for us. All right, we're gonna spray a little bit of PB Blaster on this axle and try to clean it up before we go sending it through there, just so none of this junk and buildup kind of scrapes off and into our bearing and stuff. So we're gonna try to get this cleaned up as good as we can first. All right, so we get this all cleaned up. We're gonna go ahead and use a dead blow hammer, give some good taps on here, and get that axle pushed through. See, it's pushing through there. Trying to hit with one hand and hold the camera with the other. So we're gonna drop this and get it pushed through to have enough clearance. All right, we got this thing pulled apart now, and we have plenty, a little more light in here, plenty of clearance to get in here and do what we need to do. Just gonna pop these old shoes off, pop some new ones on. Yeah, these things are gone. There is nothing left on them. It was a lot easier to have youngest 4-boy to pull on the tire and smack the dead blow on the axle over here, and it moved a lot faster, made a lot more progress. But make sure to have your adjuster out. If you have any material left on yours, we had nothing, so it wasn't even touching. But if you have any material left on your shoes, it will put too much friction on here, or a lot of friction anyway, and it'll make it harder to get off, especially if you may have worn a little rim on inside the drum here, which is possible. Not likely on these, but possible. But anyway, back your adjuster off. It'll loosen your shoes off the drum and not fight you at all. Probably gonna go ahead and clean up this part of the axle too while this is sticking out here. But that's an important thing to remember, is that these are just protective sleeves over the axle. And once we took the hub off this other side, we were able to take that sleeve off as a reminder. But we're gonna clean this up while this is exposed. Should be straightforward. Shoes off, new shoes on. We're just gonna put this back together, get things back over here tightened up. We are gonna have to get back in here to do this bearing. As I found earlier, it's got a little bit of play. Not gonna hurt us for riding tomorrow, but we're gonna put that on our parts to order list. Get it on order, get it in, put it on. All right, I got this apart and actually wiped this edge to see that there is probably a good 1/16 of the friction material on both sides. In the center, they don't wear evenly. They wear a little more in the middle than they do on the entire surface area, and it's just because it's the way it's set up. You know, when you pull on your cable, it's pulling on this arm, which is only twisting this, separating the one end, and they're just pivoting up here, and you'll see that when you have it apart. But the new factory is probably a good 5/32. It's definitely stronger than an 1/8, not quite 3/16. But this is this is probably a strong 1/16 there. So, that's an indication how much you're really not getting much wear out of this. And of course, again, where this is, there was nothing left. This adjuster was all the way in. And so, that was all of the adjustment from day one. We've got, what are we looking at there? Maybe a strong 1/16, 3/32 of total friction material that was usable. So they don't last very long. I will say this rears obviously lasts a lot longer than the fronts. And I think that, we're just front brake heavy a lot of the time. But anyway, we're just gonna get in here, kind of clean this up, spray it pretty good with some PB Blaster, wire brush. Probably gonna soak this thing really good with the PB to lubricate that pivot point All you have is these return springs. The springs on the shoes are pretty tough. You'll find that out when you're working on it. But this little return spring only has so much. So we're gonna make sure this is lubed up really well and it doesn't get kind of seized up or stuck in place and hang up with the friction material dragging, if you will. So we're gonna get everything cleaned up. We're gonna pop the shoes back on. There's no need to show it. Do it in reverse. Push the axle back through, reattach, slide on your sleeve, slide on the hub, castle nut, new pin, and put your wheel back on and you're done. Much easier way to do this.